it's Zoe here. And today I'm going to be doing it's actually a museum, and it's a Chinese water garden. And I mean, when I was in China, there were obviously actually museums rather than art museums, but I decided to try and make it into The Sims. But as I just said, I went to China. I've been twice. I've been to Shanghai and Beijing, but I've also been a little bit around the surrounding areas. And while I was there, I saw some of they were like water villages. A little bit, they were almost like floating towns, with like canals and that kind of thing. Um, but I think some people call especially the area around Shanghai, the I don't know, the Venice of the East or something like that. But anyway, so I went there, and also in the major cities and that kind of thing, there were temples and stuff like that, and that was a major inspiration when um, building this. I referenced some of the pictures that I took while I was there, also ones I've seen on the internet of like ones which I didn't get to see, and obviously it's limited with the amount that's available, um, and I don't think I think I did make a really good lot for The Sims. However, I really don't think that I did these gardens justice because they're so incredibly phenomenally beautiful. Um, but yeah, so I tried my best to try and replicate it, but as I said, it's tricky. Um, but yeah, I got one of those little roof decorations, put them on a diagonal on the edge of the roof to make them stick out. In some of the roofs, I make it stick out more than in others, and yeah, quite often they would have those which stick out, and then they would have like dragons or other animals or um, intricate designs all over the roof, and especially going off on those side bits. I don't know what they're called though, so let me know if you know what they're called. Those little bits that stick out. But they had those, and so trying to replicate that was difficult. Also, underneath all the roofs, they had painted um, like decoration underneath the very rim of the roof. So I didn't know, as you can see on the building, which I've made first, whether to do it right on the edge or to, hug it to the actual walls. Um, but it was really intricate designs, and they were normally in blues and greens. So it's kind of not really similar to what I've done, but I tried. I think it sort of gives the same effect, even though it's not the same. The others buildings they were quite square. Now this one is quite more an intricate shape. This one is actually quite. I didn't actually look at the picture, but it's based off memory, loosely from one which I went to in Shanghai, in the actual city, and yeah, so it's got like different levels and that kind of thing. This was a challenge roofing, but a challenge I enjoyed, like trying to get the overhang in it as much as I could, but not making it look stupid, and still getting the building sticking out in some places and not in others, and making it look okay. Again, not doing it justice, but doing my best. um, I don't know. Obviously, there's different dynasties in Chinese history. I don't know whether certain styles or certain colors or something like that were used in the different dynasties. But if you know, like history about buildings like this, maybe in the style I tried to copy here, I also saw buildings which were much darker, which were like just brown woods. With really dark tiles on the roofs, and ones which were mostly red, and then some which were really, really colourful. They were the ones that I saw the most. So that's what I tried to do, a more colourful theme. But yeah, let me know what the differences are, if you know whether there's a religious thing, why it's like some buildings were just in the style and maybe the colourful ones were just reserved for the religious buildings. But yeah, let me know. Also, on these front little gates, what I really wanted to do is they had these beautiful archways where they were perfect circles, and you would walk through the perfect circles through to different parts of the gardens. And I mean, obviously that's not going to be able to be made on The Sims, but it was really, really pretty. So that's what the archways are for, well, to represent. And this green was perfect. That that sort of bluey green color, I guess forest green sort of thing, was perfect. It was the exact color of so many buildings I saw, and or the archways. Also, these sort of decorations. I can't spandrels maybe, and the fence that was so similar to what I saw out there as well. Um, it has been a while though. I went first time I went to Beijing in 2013, and then I went to Shanghai last year. So I can't quite remember exactly because I didn't have enough pictures unfortunately. But I'm making a pool here, and I'm gonna surround it in rocks so that it looks really, really natural and stuff like that. The gardens were beautiful over there. I'm also filling it with green because in China, although in I know in my country, blue water and sort of like that turquoise which you get with swimming pools is what symbolizes clean, beautiful water. But in China, what symbolizes beautiful, clean water is when it's green. So I tried to fill the pools um, with the tiles. I actually made it into that glowing tile thing that we've got with I can't remember which expert was it. Get to work. I don't know. But I tried to do it with that so that it would sort of glow a green color. It's obviously still going to be blue because of the graphics. You can't quite get it perfect, and there isn't really a bright green other than the ones which are like fluorescent that I could have used. And then we've got some fountains around here. I really wanted to make it look like it was floating and having the bridges across and that kind of thing, because that was really quite similar to what it was like. And we're just putting in some things. I did practice this to start with, not as precisely as this, but I sort of made a building and sort of guessed what it would kind of look like, and then I did like the colours. I did the green and the red like I've got over there. I think I changed those in the end though, and I sort of guessed what the roofing might be and that kind of thing. Um, but I'm kind of experimenting as I'm going now to try and make it a bit better. Um, and I think with the sort of green and the red that works really well. Also, most of the buildings I saw, or this is one that I definitely referenced a picture. The windows seem to have like a big wooden panel at the bottom, and then the window. And it would often have separations in it and stuff like that. So those windows were actually perfect for that. Um, Although they don't look like it from a distance, but I think when it's together, it looks right. And then we're carrying this on to the fountain area over there. And I'm gonna make like a little seating area over there, where you can sit underneath the tree. One thing which I regret from this build is I tried to sort of slam it in at the end, like some yoga mats. And I wish I'd made more space at the beginning to put in more yoga mats and have like a designated area. And I just put in random meditation things. So if I could redo it, that's what I'd do. But if you guys can think of a way of rearranging it to make that work, go ahead. I think maybe the back of that building there, where that pink tree is, that could work. Also, I thought that these looked a lot like the plants which you would see, like blossoms and that kind of thing, um, in these gardens. So to add, detail and intricacy to the building roofs and the walls and that kind of thing, I put them in because They were so detailed and so beautiful that I wanted to add something, even though you might not see these on the building. You might do, um, like vines and that kind of thing. But I wanted to have something to give it sort of interest. Let me know what you think of it, though. I've never used these plants as vines before. I might do it in a future build. Um, Maybe like a modern build or something, and incorporate them then. Some of these rocks, I think, the paths are quite small. I did test it though. People can walk around fine, so don't worry about that. These vines kept disappearing. I don't know how many times I had to put them in. And yeah, I'm just trying to get some more something of interest there. And I thought that these looked really cool. Um, a lot like you would get on a little platform like that. And then I'm just straightening them up so that it's equal on all four sides that I do it. So on the other building as well. Also, those statues at the front. It's I should know what they're called, but I think they're dragons. But they're statues, and they're supposed to be good luck. And you put them outside of like gates and stuff like that, or entranceways, and you have them in your house and that kind of thing, and it's supposed to give good luck as you walk through. Uh, so these kind of look like that, not really. They have like a globe and something else in there, like they're under their feet. I should really know that. I've forgotten it though. And I'm just putting in some rocks around here to make it look a little bit more natural and look as though the walls and the buildings have been built really into the landscape, um, and that it was really old and that kind of thing. So we're just arranging rocks and moving them around. With that step there, I keep it there for a little bit, but then I think I move it later because I'm not sure if that you can use it if it's up on there. But I wanted to have a little step there. I That was going to be the only one into that pool, but then I realised that's a really stupid idea. So I put in some others. They can swim in there. I'm not sure if they can swim past the lilies, but they can swim in the most of the pool. And I know it's a museum, but I thought it would be really cool to have this as a lot where you could swim in the pools. Then we're sorting out doors. Again, they were majorly influenced by pictures that I saw. I'm going in with the rocks here. Put in the comments below if you've ever been to China, if you want to go to China. Maybe if you've been to any other Asian countries, and let me know maybe if they're similar or extremely different. I've only ever been to China and Asia. Um, it was an amazing experience actually. It was a really, really lovely country to go to. I actually didn't find a problem with the smog. We had it for a couple of days at the beginning, um, but then we had like a massive rain shower, and I remember I like a thunderstorm overnight, and I remember I was out and about, and I had to use my bag as cover over my head, and when I looked at my bag, there was like marks. It was leather, and there was marks all over it, and I realised that it was the acid rain had damaged the leather on my bag. I still use the bag, but it just looks really worn and old now. But yeah, that was quite interesting. But after that, we had clear blue skies. I think it got rid of all of the pollution that was in the air, so that was okay. And when I went to Shanghai, something similar had just happened, so I guess I was quite lucky. But I didn't feel the need to wear a mask or anything like that because the air felt just as fresh as it normally would. Also, none of the people were wearing masks either. I don't know whether it was a mistake for me not to wear one. Um, but it was fine when I was there. One of the most beautiful places I saw in terms of gardens, like, well, pretty gardens with pretty buildings, was actually in Beijing, and it was the old summer palace. That one wasn't actually on the itinerary because we were staying there with the university as sort of exchange students. And we were getting taught Chinese and lots of lessons and stuff like that. Oh, quickly before I forget, in China or in these temples and places like that, they had I guess kind of holy rocks. I don't know whether that's the correct term for them, and I'm sorry if I've offended anyone. But it was. I know this is a weird thing to say for maybe people who haven't been to these places, but they were beautiful rocks. They had like holes in, and they were often the central point of like a courtyard or something like that. And I think they were supposed to be lucky. Um, but they were amazing. So we had, so I put in those little rocks there so that I would to sort of replicate that. So what I was talking about anyway was that so we went with the university and they were teaching us Chinese and things like kung fu and calligraphy, a whole load of other stuff, and it was a really good trip actually. And then so what we did, we had a couple of the weekend free. We were able to do what we wanted, and me and a group of I think there was five of us together. We sort of went on our own trip, and the first place we went was the old summer palace. So there's the new summer palace, which is quite famous, which you'd probably recognise if you saw a picture of it. But the old summer palace, half of it's in ruins and half of it is just beautiful, beautiful gardens. And we got to go on a little boat where someone rowed it around. Um, it was actually probably my best day that I've ever had when I've been in um, China. Um, just the people that I was with and the things that we did. And we met some really lovely Chinese people that were so kind to us and so helpful. There was a guy who um, showed us. He was I think he was on his way to near where we were going, but you have to had to make a massive detour, and he guided us through like like changing several stops on the tube station, and he took us right to where we wanted to go, and he was chatty and friendly, and he went so far out of his way to help us get to where we wanted to go, and it was so sweet and so kind. Um, it was really lovely. But yeah, that was probably one of the best days I've had when I've been in China, and uh, yeah, so it was being in these beautiful places, but also the people that I met when I was there and I was spending time with. And I always remember that because it was awesome. I There was another garden in the center of Shanghai, um, and that one was phenomenal. It just kept going and going and going, and it was surprising that was right in the middle of a massive city like Shanghai. But you felt like you were in, um, I don't know, you didn't feel like you were in the city, and it was so beautiful. And I just remember walking around and sort of getting lost in there. Um, and yeah, that was a phenomenal garden. I'm not entirely sure what it's called because I've forgotten. Um, but I could look it up and I'll put it as a little annotation. Um, but I remember climbing through rocks and having like rock archways and sitting by little pools and things like that. And I've got some really awesome pictures of being there. Um, and like the bridge which I've made here was highly, highly, highly um, influenced by that particular place that I went to. That's probably the second most beautiful place. But it's difficult because I also went to an actual water village, and that was really phenomenal. I preferred seeing, I guess, more historical things when I was in China. We did get to see a lot of the big cities, and we went up big towers and things, and um, I got to see a lot of that, but I much preferred seeing I guess the history of China, and I learnt a lot too about the history um, while I was there. It was really awesome. Okay, and then I'm decorating the inside, and quite a lot in the temples. They had these. I'm not entirely. I should have researched the names of all these things, but they had these little red things that they tied to the ceiling, and they would put their families' names on it, and it would stay there in the temple, and it would give, I guess, their family good fortune. And they were really pretty, and they would be in like the archways and the corridors and that kind of thing. So I thought these lamps kind of looked like it because they were red and they dangled the same way. Um, I do put them throughout the place, but I realised that when you're actually moving around and sort of using the lot, it might be annoying. So I did take out some in this room, but I tried to put them in places where it wouldn't be annoying for gameplay. Um, Also, they're Buddhist temples, so we don't have a lot of, well, we don't have anything in the game to, I guess, replicate that. So I had to make up stuff. Um, and they had beautiful scrolls, which were drawn, well, they were painted. Um, they were phenomenal too. And so I had to get these little, um, I guess, poster ones to kind of replicate that. But just imagine that they're beautiful, they're beautiful scrolls with like blossom and mountains and things like that. Yeah, so I just had to make do. I guess the prettiest thing about this lot is probably the outside. Uh, and actually, it'd be really cool if you guys put it into your game and show me, because you can do painting of landscapes, can't you? It'd be awesome if I could see some of the paintings that your Sims have done in this lot. And if you have, let me know because I'd love to see it. Um, but I'm just sort of getting a whole load of random items and trying to see what will fit. I thought that maybe that could be a scroll, and then I put some rocks there, um, and over there as well. And then I scatter some candles around. I also sized up that wood um, carving because I thought that might be a good thing. I also, in a minute, I put around a whole load of towels on the floor because quite often well, they wouldn't pray to the Buddha statues because that's not really how things work. It would more be pay their respects um, to the statues of Buddha, and they would kneel on the floor quite often with incense in their hands. Um, and so I put in the towels on the floor for something that you could kneel on, maybe around what I guess would be like the shrines, but yeah, that's what I'm doing here. But I'm trying my best. It's difficult. I also had to put that random bathroom in the middle of this room because I wanted more than one bathroom. But I really struggled to put them in a certain place. The little square building that's off to the side, I was gonna make that like purely just for toilets. But then I thought it was such a pretty building, I didn't want it to just be the toilet place. I wanted it to actually be a proper building. So I decided not to, and instead I put this random bit. But I guess it sort of makes a divide because I was gonna put a wall through the middle anyway. What but could be quite cool if this was converted into like a spa maybe. That would be a cool place to put like a yoga studio. I might do that. I might try and redecorate this as a spa and re-upload it um, onto the gallery. If you want me to do that, comment below and let me know. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Also, trying to find paintings that I haven't put in a million times already, because you have to fill the quota for it to actually be classed as a museum. The right number of paintings and the right number of statues and things like that, and wall decorations as well. I end up putting some of these rocks in because I thought that they could be jade. Um, I bought back some jade actually. It's probably not real because I had no idea. I bartered for it in a little like supermarket base place. Well, it was kind of like a mini mall. I guess. Um, but yeah, now my parents have got it because I gave it to them. It was a little dragon, a little jade dragon. And I got it for super cheap, so I'm really sure that it was it wasn't real. If you ever go to China, you'll probably if you it's a good idea to search up things that you should know before going and that kind of stuff. But something that we sort of figured out if everything's bartered for, so when they tell you a price, that's not how much it costs. Um, Foreigners are always going to get, or people that look foreign are always going to get charged a little bit more, and pretty much 100% of the time they can speak English enough, for the bartering, and uh, like the price of everything. So say they give you a price of 500, then it's probably going to be 50. You just take off a zero, and that's probably how much you can barter it down to. Not always, but just as sort of like a guideline. Um, but it's a skill and it's difficult. And when you just want to buy souvenirs and you've got an hour to do it and you've got to barter with all these people for ages and ages, it is a little bit of a problem and it is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I guess that's you just have to deal with it. But anyway, so I'm putting in the last bits here with the yoga mats and stuff like that, um, and some chess tables. Um, I'm gonna put in audio of a performance that I got to witness when I was in China, and I'll put a little thing in the corner to show you the visual of them playing. I'm sorry if the audio quality on it isn't the best, but it was a phenomenal thing, and I really want to share it with you guys. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you got any ideas for some builds, and enjoy the screenshots at the end. Okay, see ya.